Well, here we are in Dark Souls 3. I know I said I wouldn't do it, but after 8 months of no content, I feel like you deserve something of an apology. As you can see, we've started as a Pyromancer. I'll go into the reasoning for this later, but as a Pyromancer, we need this many souls to reach the maximum soul level of 802. To get us started, I use the Sovereignless Soul as my starting gift, which grants 2,000 souls when used. Before we continue, however, I'd like to first shout out two people who took matters into their own hands. The first being YouTube user Karen, who posted how they'd go about doing this as a comment on both the Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 2 follow-up videos I posted. The second being YouTube user Alex Codes, who actually made a video. Interestingly, all three of our methods differ from each other and have different conclusions, and while I didn't reference either of their work when doing mine, I found after the fact that mine contains elements of both of their approaches. With that out of the way, let's get started. We'll begin by going down this side path and collecting the soul of a deserted corpse for 400 souls. After that, we'll go to where the Ravenous Crystal Lizard is and collect the soul of an unknown traveler for 800 souls, but do not kill the Ravenous Crystal Lizard. We'll come back for him later. In fact, as usual, I won't be killing any enemies until we begin the farming. Gundyr excluded, of course. After activating the bonfire, we're going to drop down this cliff side path and collect the fire bombs. Make sure to save these. Then jump on top of this coffin and grab this Titanite shard. From there, it's on to Udix Gundyr. Under normal circumstances, I'd cut this fight down, but frankly, this was a really clean fight that I'm pretty proud of, so I just want to show it in full. I don't think Dark Souls 3 speedrunners would give me any awards, but still, that was nice. Anyway, continuing on. Pick up the Broken Straight Sword. There's also some homeward bones at this pathway by the cliff. Then, over by the Starved Town, pick up this Ember. Over on this tree by the Swordmaster enemy, grab the East-West Shield. Once again, do not kill the Swordmaster until later. After rolling past these enemies, grab another Ember, and then another homeward bone. After that, head into Firelink Shrine. Firelink is utilized in this challenge. I consider this all one area, despite the game having the text pop up differentiating Firelink from the Cemetery of Ash. I'm not sure how most people will feel about this, but what I am sure about is that I don't care. Speak to the Shrine Handmaiden and purchase a Prism Stone for 10 souls. After that, run up and toward the tower behind Firelink Shrine and collect another soul of a deserted corpse for another 400 souls. Then perform the jump off the tree and onto the roof of Firelink and grab yet another homeward bone. Run behind the building to kill the Crystal Lizard and obtain a Twinkling Titanite. Perform the jump back onto the roof and collect an Estus Shard. Then we'll begin trading with the Crow. Drop a Firebomb to get the large Titanite Shard, the Prism Stone for another Twinkling Titanite, and a homeward bone for the Iron Bracelets. Then is through the illusory wall to open the chest containing the covetous Silver Serpent Ring, which increases the number of souls collected from enemies by 10%. Equip it and kill Hawkwood the Deserter, giving us 1100 souls and a heavy gem. In Firelink Shrine, there's also Ludlith of Corland. Go ahead and kill him and get the Skull Ring. Now it's back outside to kill the Swordmaster, giving us 2200 souls plus his Uchigatana, Master's Attire, and Master's Glove. Then we're going to run back towards the start of the Cemetery of Ash and confront the Ravenous Crystal Lizard. Killing it drops 4400 souls and a Titanite scale. Back in Firelink, we're going to use our itemized souls and then sell everything in our possession to the Shrine Handmaiden besides our hand axe and our 2 rings. After doing all of this, we can start the game off with a total of 19,681 souls. Not too shabby, That means we're already 0.000747146% of the way there. Oh, God. Well, I guess the earlier we get started with the grind, the better off we'll be. So, where should our grind take place? We essentially have two options. Karen, in their comment, thought that the area around Firelink with its Grave Wardens and the Starved Hound was best, while Alex Codes in his video thought the first bonfire with the group of Grave Wardens surrounding it was more ideal. Of the two, Alex Codes was right. While there are more enemies around Firelink, they're spread out a lot more, while you can get more souls in a significantly shorter amount of time by the first bonfire, and that isn't even taking into account how Dark Souls 3 can take a shockingly long time to load the area outside of Firelink and let you leave. I have this game installed on an SSD. Yep, still here. Okay, there we go, finally. Anyway, unfortunately for Alex Codes, while he had the right idea, he killed only the first 5 enemies before returning to the bonfire, and used an imperfect route and technique as he was using a knight. The knight does insufficient damage to achieve the overkill bonus, meaning he only got 20 souls each from the Grave Wardens, meaning per run he collected only 100 souls. As a Pyromancer, however, we can use the Fireball, which will give us the overkill bonus. That, in combination with the coveted Silver Serpent Ring, brings us to 26 souls per kill. There are some drawbacks, however. The biggest one being you have to do a direct hit with the Fireball. You see, the Fireball can do a bit of splash damage, so even if you don't hit an enemy directly but instead hit, say, a wall, you won't get the overkill bonus. The same applies too if you kill more than one enemy with a Fireball at a time. You get an overkill bonus from only one of them. Interestingly, the same system is not in place for melee attacks. As you can see here, I was able to get an overkill bonus for multiple kills. Granted, enemies won't reliably position themselves this way, and melee will be slower for other reasons, so Fireball is still our best bet. All that aside, to maximize our yield of souls, we need to kill all 9 enemies individually with direct hits, and that route looks like this. The first Grave Warden is the hardest to hit by far as it's leaning against some gravestones. By locking on, your Fireball will definitely hit the gravestones, so you'll miss out on the overkill bonus. The solution to this is to become a god at freehand aiming, which I have. After him, you go down here and kill this one as it walks along the path. And then these two sitting down here. Run up here and do a diagonal jump over and down this ledge and kill this Grave Warden with a plunging attack, which is also enough to give the overkill bonus. Then it's this one by the boss arena. Another leaning against this wall. And these two down the cliff. After that, it's just a short sprint back to the bonfire, bringing us 234 souls. But we can do better than that still. The Grave Wardens are capable of dropping 2 items, one being the Fading Soul, an itemized soul drop that grants 20 souls, and the Cleric's Sacred Charm, which, when sold to the Shrine Handmaiden, gives us 100 souls. So we need to figure out the drop rates on these items. During testing, I went ahead and had my luck at 99, as for the vast majority of this run, you could easily have your luck that high if you spent all your levels being pumped straight into that stat. I determined that out of the 9 enemies we kill, only 6 of them are in positions that are favorable for collecting items, as the other 3 would simply take too long to go out of your way to grab and be worthwhile. After doing 100 runs, I collected 112 Fading Souls and 20 Cleric's Sacred Charms. That means they have a drop rate of 28 and 25 and 1 and 5 when simplified, respectively. This means we can expect an extra 76 souls per run, bringing us up to 310 souls per run. So now, how long is a run? It's 40 seconds. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about this. It's 40 seconds. See, look at the timer. I sat down now. 40. Well, with that out of the way, I guess it's just time for the math. 2,634,158,624 souls. Minus the 19,681 souls from everything we did prior to the grind, that's 2,634,138,943. 310 souls per run at 40 seconds long means we can expect about 465 souls per minute. Multiplying that times 60 gives us the number of souls per hour, which is 27,900 souls. So, 2,634,138,943 divided by 27,900 gives us the number of hours it would take to complete this challenge, which is 94,413.58, or when rounded up, 94,414 hours. That's 3,934 days, 562 weeks, 129 months, or 10.77 years. That means that despite the fact that you need about 1 billion more souls than you needed to complete Dark Souls 1's challenge, it still takes a significantly shorter amount of time, from 18.29 years down to 10.77. Still, that is once again 10.77 years of solid gameplay, with not sleeping, eating, bathroom breaks, etc. So, if you were to do it for 8 hours per day, you're looking at 32.63 years. That, once again, pales in comparison to Dark Souls 1's 55.42 years. So, as is usual with the Souls series, Dark Souls 1 is still the king. Thanks for watching. Apologies once more for the lack of uploads. 2021 was an incredibly busy year for me, and it doesn't seem like that will be slowing down anytime soon, unfortunately. Still, I hope this made up for the lack of activity in some way. I still don't plan on a Demon Souls or Bloodborne video, and I of course have no expectations for a Sekiro or Elden Ring one in the same vein, but, well, I never intended to make this video either, so I guess we'll see. Dark Souls 3 turned out more interesting than I previously thought as I worked out ways to maximize the number of souls I could get prior to the grind. I still think Dark Souls 2 is the best out of the 3 videos, but still this wasn't nearly as bad as I thought. As usual, I'd like to thank the people who helped me with making this video. First, I'd like to thank Ai for her voice acting. If you're thinking to yourself, what voice acting? That's because you haven't heard it yet. Next, I'd like to thank Meowmaritus for looking into the splash damage with the fireball and how it relates to getting the overkill bonus. Then I'd like to thank rythin as well as
Name redacted for viewer safety
for helping me with the math, cause my brain don't work so good. And of course, I'd like to once again thank GrindGod for the idea of making this series in the first place. Alright, that's pretty much it. See you guys in whatever comes next.